Carell just wanted quiet. The alien city of Lumine Prime was loud, bright, and full of visitors from across the galaxy. After her training in the Star Patrol Academy, she craved a calm home, a private life. So she posted a roommate ad, very clear. Seeking quiet, clean alien roommate. No humans. She had her reasons. Humans were unpredictable, messy, loud, and worst of all, they asked too many questions. Carell didn't need that kind of chaos in her life. Her ad was viewed hundreds of times. A few weird messages came in. But one afternoon, there was a knock at her door. She opened it and froze. A tall figure stood there holding a duffel bag and smiling awkwardly. "Hey," he said. "I'm Jace. I saw your ad. Hope I'm not too early." Carell narrowed her eyes. "You're human." "Guilty," he grinned. "I said no humans." "Yeah," Jace replied. "But I figured you'd at least hear me out. Rent's hard to find in this part of the city." She should have closed the door. But something in his voice, calm, not pushy, made her hesitate. He looked around. "Nice place. Smells like jasmine." She didn't smile. "That's a defense scent." "Oh, still nice," Carell sighed. "You have 5 minutes." He stepped inside. And in that moment, the quiet life she planned began to slip away. Because Jace wasn't just another visitor. He carried something she couldn't ignore, something that would soon change both their lives forever. Carol paced the living room as Jace dropped his bag gently by the wall. "Just so you know," she said firmly, "this isn't a permanent arrangement." Jace nodded. "Temporary is fine, I just need somewhere to reset." She crossed her arms. "Humans don't reset. They invade." He smiled. "I promise not to invade the fridge without asking." She didn't laugh, but her lips twitched slightly. They sat across from each other, a small energy lamp glowing between them. Carell studied him in the quiet. No twitching, no loud chewing, no strange humming. It was unexpected. "Why are you really here?" she asked. Jace's smile faded. He looked at his hands. "I came to Lumine for work, a translator job, but I found out someone else applied with fake credentials. They blamed me." "You were framed?" "Sort of. Doesn't matter. I lost everything. No credits, no job, no place to stay. Your ad said no humans, but it also said you wanted quiet." Carell narrowed her eyes. "You don't sound quiet." He looked up. His voice dropped. "That's the secret. When I'm alone, I don't make a sound, because the last time I did, people I cared about disappeared." Her breath caught, slightly. That wasn't what she expected. Silence fell between them again, but this time it felt different. Carell stood. "1 week, you can stay 1 week." Jace nodded. "I'll try not to disappear too." She didn't answer, but something in her chest stirred. Carell liked things neat. Not just neat, perfectly arranged. Her glowing vines, they had to curl clockwise. Her thistle bulbs, aligned by color, from darkest blue to frost white. Everything had a place, a sacred balance. So when she came home from her shift and saw her window shelf completely reorganized, she froze. The vines were now braided. The thistle bulbs were sorted by size, not color. And her sacred nesting fern was in the kitchen. She screamed, "Jace!" He came running, towel slung over his shoulder. "What? Did something break?" Carell pointed furiously. "What did you do?" Jace blinked, confused. "The plants, I just gave them more sun, and your fern, it looked thirsty." She looked ready to explode. That fern only drinks mist, not water, and the vines only spiral if they feel safe. Jace raised his hands. Okay, I didn't know, I'm sorry," Carell growled, literally. "Humans always touch things they don't understand." He backed up slowly. "Let me fix it." "You fix nothing." They stared at each other. Then Jace quietly added, "They looked like they were reaching for the sun. Like they were happy." Carell's glare weakened just a bit. She sighed, heavily. Just don't touch anything again. Ever. Jace smiled awkwardly. Got it. No touching weird alien botany. Lesson learned. As she resorted her plants in silence, she noticed something strange. The fern did look better. She just didn't want to admit it. Carol wasn't trying to listen, but the sound traveled, clear and loud, from the refresher unit through the thin walls of their shared quarters. At first it was just water running. Then, a strange sound followed, a human voice, singing. Something about the way you smile at me, even if you're green and weird. She froze mid-step in the hallway. Her sensitive alien ears twitched. Was that Jace? And I don't know what you eat, but girl, it ain't meat. Carol's eyes widened. He was singing about her? Her cheeks flushed violet, a deep, unmistakable color of alien embarrassment. What was he thinking? Was this how humans flirted? By singing nonsense in the water chamber? She turned quickly, bumping into the wall. Her mind raced. Should she pretend she didn't hear? Should she confront him? Should she? Suddenly, the door to the refresher slid open. Jace walked out wrapped in a towel, hair dripping. He stopped when he saw her standing there like a stunned animal. You okay? He asked, raising a brow. Carell looked away fast. I was passing by. You heard me singing, didn't you? He chuckled. She nodded slowly, still facing the other way. It's a human thing, he said, still smiling. Helps pass the time. Carol muttered. Your lyrics are strange. Jace laughed. That's the point. Carol darted into her room and slammed the door. Inside, she covered her face. But deep inside, she smiled. The next morning, Carell smelled something from the kitchen. Something familiar. Her nose twitched. The scent was rich, tangy, and a little spicy. Her eyes widened as she followed the smell. She entered the kitchen and saw Jace, humming again, this time not in the shower but standing near the food replicator and stovetop. He glanced over. Morning, roomie. Hungry? Carell blinked. What is that? Jace grinned. I improvised. I scanned the database for your species' preferred flavor profiles. Then I mixed some of my earth ingredients to match it. Want to try? He scooped some into a bowl and placed it gently in front of her. I call it Xanthari Surprise. No idea if it'll kill you or not. Carell sat down slowly. Her kind didn't trust other species with food, but the smell was so perfect it hurt. She took a small bite, then stopped, then took a bigger one. This is, she whispered. Her voice shook a little. Too weird? Jace asked. No. It's my favorite childhood dish. My mother made this before she disappeared in the raids. Carell's tone softened. How did you? Jace didn't joke this time. I just wanted to make something you'd like. Silence hung between them. Then Carell said quietly, Thank you. Jace smiled and leaned against the table. Guess I'm not just good at singing in the shower, huh? Carell actually chuckled, and for the first time the wall between them cracked. Later that evening, Jace was scrolling through his old Earth movie files on the holoscreen. Carell passed behind him, sipping a glowing drink from her homeworld. You watch ancient Earth images? She asked, amused. He looked back at her. Movies, yeah. You ever watched one? She shook her head. My kind finds them confusing, all the emotions, too many hugs. Jace chuckled. That's half the fun. Come sit. Just one movie. I promise I won't bite. Carell hesitated, then slowly lowered herself beside him on the long couch, tucking her legs beneath her. Her tail flicked once nervously. He chose a light romantic comedy, bright colors, silly Earth jokes, but within 10 minutes Carell leaned in closer, frowning. Why is she crying? The mail only forgot one meeting. Because it meant something to her, Jace whispered, grinning. Carell's eyes narrowed. Earth emotions are overwhelming, Then, without warning, a cuddling scene appeared. The human man gently pulled the woman into his arms, resting her against his chest. Carell leaned forward. "What is that behavior?" Jace cleared his throat. "It's called cuddling." "Is it combat training?" He burst out laughing. "No, it's comfort, warmth, trust." She tilted her head. "Do humans do this with everyone?" "No," Jace said softly, turning to her. "Only the ones they feel safe with." Carell looked at him and didn't say anything, but she didn't move away either. They finished the movie in silence, with her shoulder lightly touching his. For the first time, she felt safe. The next morning, Carell stood by the window, watching the sunrise. The twin suns of her planet cast golden beams across the horizon, but her thoughts weren't on the sky. They were on him. Jace walked out of his room, stretching, shirtless, still half asleep. Carell's eyes narrowed. "Your chest, it moves, strangely." He blinked. "Good morning to you too." She stepped closer, her fingers pointing. "Right there. There's a thump, but also here. 2 thumps." Jace smiled. "Ah, you found it. Just 1 heart, Carell. But your species hears things differently, huh?" She didn't respond. Instead, her hand reached forward, slowly, curiously, and pressed gently against his chest. It wasn't a romantic gesture. It was alien curiosity. But still, his breath caught. "You are warm," she whispered. "Warmer than my kind." He laughed lightly. "Yeah, we're kind of built that way. Blood, metabolism, human stress." She nodded, still keeping her fingers there, listening. "It sounds like 2 hearts," she said again. Then she looked up at him. "Maybe. Humans are made for loving double." He met her gaze, and something changed. No jokes, no teasing. Just silence and tension, but not fear. Connection. Suddenly, the communicator on her wrist beeped, loud, sharp, official. Her eyes widened as she read the incoming message. "What is it?" Jace asked. Carell's face went pale blue. "My father, he's coming. He just learned my roommate is human." She backed away. "This is bad. Very bad." The air outside shimmered with heat as a large black vessel descended into the courtyard of Carell's building. It was shaped like a sharp blade, sleek and silent, but the tension it brought was loud. Carell stood frozen at the window. "He came fast," she whispered. Jace walked up beside her, now dressed and alert. "Is that your dad's ship?" She nodded slowly. "General Tivol, leader of the High Guard, and very traditional. And very anti-human," she added. The doors of the ship hissed open. From the smoke, a tall alien stepped out. His armor, dark green, his eyes glowing silver. Carell's breath quickened. "Jace, don't move. Don't speak unless I say." Her father marched through the entrance like he owned the building. Carell opened the door just before he could tear it down. "Tivol," she said, bowing formally. "This is unexpected." "Is that him?" her father growled, pointing at Jace. "Yes," she said firmly. "That's my roommate, a human." The general's fists clenched. "You dared to let one live beside you?" Carell stood between them. "He is kind, respectful. He saved me when that pipe burst, remember?" But her father's eyes were burning with fury. "I heard rumors you were fond of him, that you touched him." Carell didn't speak. Silence. Then the general stepped forward, eyes locked on Jace. "You will step outside," he said. "I will give you a warrior's death. It is more than you deserve, human." Jace calmly replied, "I'm not going anywhere, and if you try, I'll defend myself." Carell gasped. Both of them now stood, staring, neither backing down. The room was silent but full of danger. Jace didn't blink. He looked straight at the towering alien warrior. General Tivol narrowed his glowing eyes. "You challenge me, human? I don't want to fight," Jace said. "But if you come at me with death in your heart, I won't run." The general gave a low growl, then suddenly pulled a glowing blade from his back. The air around it sizzled. Carell screamed, "Father, no!" But Tavol didn't stop. He lunged forward. Jace rolled to the side just in time. The blade cut a piece of the wall instead. Sparks flew. Jace moved fast, no weapons, just quick thinking. He ducked low and kicked the alien's knee hard. The general stumbled but didn't fall. "You're fast," Tavol muttered. "I'm human," Jace replied. "We adapt." The general slashed again. Jace blocked the attack with a metal chair, sparks flying. He didn't try to win. He just tried to survive. Carell rushed between them. "Stop! You're trying to kill the one person who makes me feel alive." Tavol froze. "What did you say?" he asked quietly. "I said I choose him," she said, voice trembling but strong. "I choose him over every tradition, every rule, and every arranged bonding you planned for me." Jace stood beside her, blood on his lip, still breathing hard. The general looked at the human again. But this time, he saw something different. Not a threat, not a joke, but a warrior. "I'll return tomorrow," Tavol said coldly. "If he's still here, then I will accept your choice." And with that, he walked away. Carell's hands were shaking as she pressed a cool cloth to Jace's forehead. His lip was swollen and a purple bruise was forming near his eye. "You didn't have to fight him," she said softly. "I wasn't trying to fight," Jace muttered. "Just survive." She gave a sad smile, then dipped the cloth again. "You're crazy," Jace chuckled, then winced. "Takes one to room with an alien girl who keeps secrets." Carell looked away for a moment. The lights in the room dimmed, soft and warm now. She sat beside him close. Too close. "You were supposed to be temporary," she said. "Just some human renting a room." "Well," Jace replied, "that plan clearly failed." She looked at him, eyes deep and glowing faintly. "Do you know why my father attacked?" Jace nodded. "Because he thinks I'm unworthy of you." "No," she said slowly. "Because he knows what I'm starting to feel." Jace's heart thumped. "Carell." She leaned in closer, her breath against his cheek. "I never bonded with anyone. Before. Never trusted anyone enough, but you're different." He felt her fingers touch his hand. Then she whispered, "My people believe once a bond starts, it becomes real the moment it's spoken." Jace blinked. "Spoken?" She nodded, then said the words in her language. They glowed faintly in the air. Then she whispered the translation, "I belong to you, if you'll have me." Jace sat frozen. His next words would change both their lives forever. Jace opened his eyes slowly, still remembering Carell's words from the night before. The soft glow of morning filtered through the skylight, and for a moment everything felt peaceful. Until the sirens began. Boom! A tremor shook the building. Carell sat up straight, her eyes wide with panic. The sound of a crash echoed in the distance, followed by blaring emergency alerts in several alien languages, and finally in English. "Warning. Unidentified vessel descending. All civilians evacuate immediately." Jace rushed to the window. A black trail of smoke cut through the sky, and a giant craft was spiraling toward the hills just outside the city. "It's crashing," he yelled. "That's not a landing, it's going down hard." Carell was already moving, grabbing her comm device. Her skin glowed faintly, reacting to stress. "That's not a normal ship. It's coated with military tags, but old ones." "Old ones?" Jace asked. "Like ancient?" She nodded. "Pre-exile ships. From before the last galactic war." Outside, more civilians were running through the streets, pointing and shouting. The craft smashed into the hillside with a thunderous quake, sending dust and flame into the sky. Carell stared toward the smoke. "We have to go." "Go? Toward the crash?" Jace asked. She looked at him, her face calm but serious. "My people were banned from using those kinds of ships. If one just landed here, something is wrong, very wrong. Jace grabbed his jacket and nodded. Then let's find out what's inside. Together they raced into the chaos, not knowing what or who they were about to find. Jace and Carell ran through the city's edge toward the crash site. Black smoke rose high in the sky. Security drones buzzed above them, warning civilians to stay back, but Carell held up her old passkey, and they pushed through. The ship had torn open the hillside like paper. It was massive, twice the size of any transport Jace had seen before. Strange symbols lined its side, glowing faintly. "This isn't just old," Carell whispered. "It's forbidden. My people buried ships like this because of what they carried." They stepped carefully through the wreckage. Metal hissed, wires sparked, and then they saw it. A containment pod cracked open inside the ship's core. Inside, covered in glowing fluid and wrapped in ancient armor, was a young alien girl. "She's alive?" Jace asked in shock. The girl opened her eyes. They were bright blue and filled with confusion. She looked directly at Carell, then spoke softly. "You are the key." Carell froze. "Impossible. That language hasn't been spoken in generations." Jace stepped closer. "Who is she?" Carell answered, trembling. "She's a genetic echo. A living memory of the last queen before exile. This ship wasn't just lost. It was hidden. She's not supposed to exist." Suddenly, drones around them stopped moving. The girl raised her hand toward Jace. "Human. You are her bondmate. The future depends on both of you." Jace blinked. "Wait, what?" Carell turned to him, shocked. "You bonded with royal blood?" And just like that, their quiet life as roommates was over. A human and two alien girls, one modern, one ancient, now held the fate of a galaxy.